Hello everyone and welcome to the Hive Herald Network, a new YouTube channel set up especially for playing games of Necromunda. Hopefully we're going to be releasing regular battle reports showing off our campaign games of what's going on in the Hull area. Today's battle report will show off my House Van Saar gang, led by Hans, and they're going to be facing up against my friend's House Escher gang, led by his Queen Kara. Please ignore the poorly painted models. For our first game, we're going to play a straightforward gang fight. No real rules for the scenario, that is. Straight up, I kill you, you kill me. Mostly using TT combat terrain. As for the scatter terrain, a lot of that's from Games Workshop, Mantic and a few various other companies, even some homemade pieces such as the bridges that you can see. Hopefully we're going to show you a great game today. Up first we have the Techno Junkies for House Van Saar. Their gang consists of Hans, the Prime, with his plasma pistols and gunfighter skill, Scorch, the Augmech with his plasma gun and hip shooting, Widow, the Archaeotech with his rad beamer and his weaponsmith skill, Bruno, the Specialist with his lasgun, and then 4 subtechs with either las pistols or lasguns, and that is Jackson, Pixel, Vixen and Hauser. Then we have the Sisters of Sledge Rock for House Escher, led by the Queen Kara with their needle pistol stiletto sword. They then have a Matriarch Gunner with a plasma pistol stiletto knife. Then there's the Death Maiden Alruna with their needle pistol and stiletto knife. Then we have a bunch of little sisters, Sky, Freya, Whisper, Elor, Echo and Hela. Get ready. Unsure of where both gangs will deploy, Van Saar deploy their loot casket to the left and Escher deploy theirs to the right. Rolling for deployment, first we get a tie, then House Escher win. At this point we did make a mistake, but I'll explain shortly. The Escher deploy firstly to the left flank, the plasma pistol toasting Matriarch Gunner and the needle pistol shockwhip wielding Queen Kara. Then, at ground level, low down hidden behind a container, they have Elor and Freya, one with an auto pistol, one with a las pistol, both with stiletto knives. Moving on to the first floor staircase, we have Whisper and we have Echo. Again, 2 more little sisters, both with stiletto knives, both with auto pistols. Moving up to the second floor stairs, we've got the Death Maiden Alruna with her stiletto sword needle pistol, and then Hela and Sky. Again, auto pistol, las pistol and stiletto knives. The Van Saar deployment. The right hand flank on the first floor, we have the Prime Hans with his dual plasma pistols, accompanied by the Subtech Vixen. To the left of these, we have the Augmech Scorch with his plasma gun, and with him, the Subtech Jackson. Holding the central walkway, there is a Specialist Bruno and his lasgun. And finally, to the left-hand side of the battlefield, we have the Archaeotech Scorch with his rad beamer, flanked by both subtechs, Pixel and Hauser. Turn 1, and this is where we made the mistake I mentioned earlier. Rolling for initiative, first we get a tie, then Van Saar win, however, Escher had already won and deployed first. This means Escher should have gone first, however, again, just a test game. Van Saar's first activation, a nice easy one, Hauser, is a double move forward, straight past the loot crate and into cover. Escher's first activation is a group activation. The Queen Kara activates both herself and the Matriarch Gunner. She steps from cover, finds herself a great spot, lifts her needle pistol and aims straight for the Prime Hans. After a good roll, it's a fantastic shot, however, that toxin fails on this occasion and there is no wound. Although the round hit Hans and didn't wound him, it still caused him to be pinned. As such, he needed to avoid falling down the gantry, needing to test on his initiative of 5+, dangerous as we know for a Van Saar. Huzzah! He passed. this time. Keeping with that group activation, the matriarch gunner decides to follow her queen Kara. Not wanting to be left in the open and taking a shot, however, she takes a double move to stay in cover with her queen. After witnessing his prime taking incoming fire, the Augmech Scorch decides to make best use of his hip shooting skill and the mighty plasma gun in his possession, and decides to run and gun towards these juicy Escher targets up ahead. With hard cover and the hip shooting penalty, Scorch is going to need a 5+ to make this shot. And he gets it, requiring an ammo roll with his plasma gun, however, of a 5+. And he fails. With a scarce trait, that takes his plasma gun out of action for the game. Needing a 3+ to wound for that damage too. And he gets it. The Escher Matriarch has an armoured undersuit and mesh armour, meaning normally she'd need a 4+ to make this save. However, the plasma gun's -1 meant on this occasion she'd need a 5+ to prevent the 2 damage. Rolling up, and a 1. That's 2 wounds, reducing it to 0, and 1 injured ice being rolled for a flesh wound. All things considered, not a bad result. Up next, the Subtech Jackson, who was activated as part of a group activation with Scorch, does a double move to join the champion right near the ammo crate. This is hoping his intelligence next turn can turn that crate into an ammo cache. For House Escher, the little sister, Hella, decides to double move down the stairs, priming her pistol and prepping her stiletto knife. She's ready for action. Beware, junkies, she's coming for you. Bruno, seeing Hella in the distance, decides to aim and shoot. Normally -2 to hit, however with a weapon bonus on the aim, this cancels it out, meaning he needs a 3+ to hit. And he gets that, needing an ammo roll of a 2+, which he passes, then requiring a 4+ to wound, and he gets it. With no armour, it's a straight injury roll, and serious injury. Next time, if you're not wearing any armour, maybe stay more hidden. Next up, Echo, also making a double move to try and join her sister, firstly to offer assistance, but also to close that gap. You can't stop us all, Saar. There's too many of us, and so little of you. Outnumbered, but definitely not outgunned, the Subtech Pixel with a lasgun marches forward to join Hauser on the left flank. The Escher Specialist Whisper decides to move up the stairs and try and support her sisters. Bringing a lasgun to bear, she takes a shot at the oncoming Saar. Normally looking for 4s, Whisper gets +1, taking it to a 3+ to hit. However, the Subtech's in hard cover with that -2, meaning she needs a 5 to hit. And she gets a 1. Today's just not Escher's day on the range. Next up for the junkies, Widow advances forward towards the billboard, bringing Whisper into his sights. Widow needs a 2+ to hit, firing in disperse mode, hoping to take advantage of that rapid fire, rolls up, and just scores the 1 hit. Strength 2 against toughness 3 means a 5+ to wound, and the wound is not passed on this occasion. Finally, looking for that Radphage 4+, and fails to apply a flesh wound. Not his day. No wound, no radiation, but still pinned. Whisper needs a 3 not to fall off the ledge. And with a 4, she's comfortable and just pinned. Up next, the little sister Sky decides to go up the stairs rather than down the stairs, hoping to get that high vantage point using her auto pistol to bring some extra firepower down onto Pixel and Hauser, supporting her sisters and also trying to lay down lead. Next up on the right flank, the Subtech Vixen decides to double move, joining her colleagues behind the barricades. Echo, keeping low and in cover, double moves to the base of a ladder, ready for a next turn strike. The Saar Prime now stands to his feet and decides it's time to get involved in the action. With his dual plasma pistols, he moves up into the gantry, ready to strike. Freya, taking a double move to follow Echo to the base of the ladder, locks and loads her auto pistol, ready for next turn. Last but by no means least for the Sisters of Sledge, the Deaf Maiden Alruna Surveying the battlefield from her high vantage point, she decides to double move straight into cover. From this position, with her stiletto sword and combat virtuoso skill, she's ready to become a whirlwind of destruction for both Hauser and Pixel. Those Van Saar better watch out. With all models activated, it's time for the end of the round. Recovery test for Hella. And she's still down. Still all to play for. This roll is huge. Turn to initiative. And it goes to Escher. Up first for the Escher, Alruna the Death Maiden. Taking full advantage of her 3-inch versatile range, she decides to charge Hauser. Needing at least 2 inches to complete the charge. She gets 3. With 4 attacks hitting on 2s, this attack promises to be deadly. And away she goes. 3 hits, wounding on 3s. And there's 2 1s in there. Needing a 6 to save, he fails, and the resulting injury is a flesh wound. Hauser, wounded and afraid, decides to step back and bring his lasgun to bear on Alruna. Normally hitting on a 3, with an extra +1 due to range. However, the hard cover means he's going to require a 4 to hit. Rolling up, he gets a 3. It's a miss and an ammo check required. And he passes his ammo. Up next, Sky with her auto pistol, needing 4s to hit against Pixel. Rolls up a 5, scoring 2 hits, needing 4s to wound, and she scores a wound. 6+ armor, fails, and the injury roll is serious injury. Pixel, being so close to the edge, is now going to have to test initiative to see if she falls. And getting a 5, she's safe. Bruno, looking for revenge on Sky, aims his lasgun, cancelling out that hard cover, and needs a 3 to hit. And scoring a 5, it's a hit. Needing a 4 to wound, wounds. With no armour, it's straight to injury, and a serious injury scored. With so many Eschers being taken down, Echo, deciding to even the score, moves towards the barrier behind Alruna and points her las pistol towards the already wounded Hauser. This was always going to be a risky shot, however, needing a 6 to hit. She misses. Forgetting about the stray shot rule, she accidentally shoots Alruna in the back. Needing a 4 to wound, this could be another disaster for House Escher. A 3. Luckily, Alruna is far enough away from the edge that she doesn't fall on this occasion. Things are going from bad to worse for House Escher. For the Junkies, the Augmech performs a group activation, starting with the Subtech Jackson. Wanting to try and assist Scorch with his plasma gun, he first tries to pass an intelligence check to bypass the lock of the loot crate. A simple task for a Subtech, needing a 7. He gets a 6. Hanging his head in shame, he moves back into cover. Scorch, laughing at the inability from the Subtech, decides to step forward and show the Juve just how easy this lock is to pick. And in a mere 5+, he rolls a 4. Maybe the lock's harder than it looks. Next up, the Matriarch Gunner, using a spring up skill, needs a 2+ to stand up, which she gets. Bringing a plasma pistol to bear with -2 for cover, needing a 5+ to hit Vixen in the cover. Rolling up, 5+, she hits. Needing a 3+ to wound. Gets it, with no armor save available, it's a straight up 2 injury dice, and it's a straight out of action. Vixen now in a world of pain rolls to see what injury she picks up, and it's a 65 critical injury. Seeing Vixen explode, panic checks are taken. Scorch, 7, comfortable pass, and for Jackson, 9, another pass. Kara the Queen, who group activated with Gunner, aims her lasgun, takes a shot, needing a 3+ to hit, and rolls a 1, not today. The seriously injured Subtech Pixel crawls back into cover. Up next, Whisper stands up and moves towards the little sister in the hope of helping her in the end phase. Widow, advancing forward with his rad beamer, fires in disperse mode, hoping to get 2 shots and spreading the love. And he gets a 4 with 2 hits, 1 on each target. Faced up against Alruna the Death Maiden, a 5+ needed to wound, and it fails. 4+ for the Radphage, and that does trigger, meaning that she now has a flesh wound. Echo next, needing a 5+ to wound, fails. 4+ for the Radphage, also fails. With both fighters pinned, this flank is looking good for Van Saar. Up next, Ella, climbing the ladder, tries to take an impossible shot at Scorch, needing a 6 and then a 5. First rolling up, and it's a miss and an ammo check. Luckily the weapon's plentiful and passes comfortably. Hans, the gunfighter prime, steps forward and with both plasma pistols tries to take a shot at Ella in the open. Didn't force the hit, he rolls, scoring 1 hit, needing a 3+ to wound, and he gets it. With no armour on the little sister, it's a straight up 2 damage dice, and it's a double flesh wound. Trying to stay on the ledge, Ella fails her initiative and falls down to the bottom of the stairs. Having suffered 2 flesh wounds already, this fall has the potential to be fatal. Needing a 2+ to wound, and it is a wound, another injury dice. It's not looking good for Ella. Thankfully, it's just a serious injury, leaving her in a very bad state at the bottom of that staircase. Seeing Ella go down, Gunnar tests for panic, and it's comfortable, cool check passed. Freya, being really stupid or really clever, tries to reenact Ella's same action. Standing up, taking the shot against Hans, and missing. End of the round bottle check for the junkies. They're going nowhere. So, end of the round recovery checks, and Pixel for the junkies is still seriously injured. Moving on to Echo, and she is now a flesh wound, back in the fight. Hella, still seriously injured. And finally Ella, with the 2 flesh wounds, hoping to stay seriously injured, is still injured. Going into turn 3, and the Van Saar take the initiative again. Up first, Hans group activates himself, Scorch and Jackson. Scorch going first tries to open the crate, this time being successful, and needing a 4+ to turn that crate into an ammo cache, which is what he was hoping for, and he gets it. Now hoping to finally bring his plasma gun back into the fight, needing only a 3+ with a scarce trait removed, he rolls a 2. This plasma gun's fired once and done. Hans, still trying to be the gunfighter he is, spots Freya in the open, although with a barrier, needs a 4+ to hit, and scores 1 hit, a 6 again this time, looking for 3s to wound, and he gets it. With -1 to armour, there is no armour save, so straight up injury roll, and again it's a flesh wound and a serious injury. Needing to pass her initiative check to stay on the landing, she passes. And the nearby gunner easily passes her panic check. After causing heavy damage, Hans then moves into cover, and the last person to activate as part of the group activation was Jackson the Subtech. Aiming and shooting, hoping to take down Kara, he misses again. Up next, the Death Maiden Alruna stands to her feet and points her last pistol straight at Widow. Needing a 4+ to hit, she hits. Needing a 4+ to wound. On this occasion, she fails, however. Still becoming pinned, Widow needs to pass an initiative check to stay up on the gantry, and massively fails, falling for 1 more chance to wound, needing a 4. And it wounds. Will Widow's armour hold true? Yes, it does. After seeing his friend Widow blown from the gantry, Hauser takes aim with his lasgun at the Death Maiden, and normally requiring a 3+, with a +2 and the -2, it's still a 3, looking to hit the Death Maiden for revenge, and scores a 3, exactly what he needed. Strength 3, toughness 3 with a flesh wound, looking for a 4 to wound, and with a 6, that wound is easily done. At this point, Alruna needs to make a 4+ armour save, and she passes comfortably. Safe, but pinned again. As she's moved closer to the gantry this time, she needs to take a quick initiative check to make sure she doesn't fall, and easily passes. This turn, the little sister Echo, wanting to avoid the humiliation of shooting Alrone in the back, decides to get to her feet and instead run forward, hoping to maximise her stiletto knife in the next turn against House Van Saar. The still down Pixel crawls towards Hauser looking for support in the end phase, and over for House Escher, Freya decides to crawl into cover looking to avoid that gunfighter's shot again. The tech specialist Bruno, eyeing Echo running towards his fallen colleague, aims and shoots, requiring a 3+, and he gets it. Strength 3, Toughness 3, needing a 4 to wound, and with a 6 he gets it. With no armour, it's a straight up injury roll for the little sister, and it's a straight out of action. Another bad result for House Escher. For Whisper's activation, she decides to stay in cover. The Architect Widow gets up to the feet and decides to walk to the base of the ladder, ready for next turn. Ella, still injured, stays low. With only Escher activations left, Whisper double moves to get closer to the action, and Hela decides to stand and move behind the barrier to join her. In a last gasp effort to cause some serious damage to House Van Saar, Gunnar, the matriarch, with her plasma pistol at close range, aims and shoots, needing only a 2+ to take down Han. Gets a 1. It's all over. With only injury rolls left at the end of the round, Pixel rolls up and out of action. Seeing what happens? Another critical injury, dead unless going to the dock. Whisper rolling up, still critically injured. Moving over to Freya, who's hidden behind the barricade, again hoping to get back on her feet. Another one still seriously injured. Now Elor, the massively injured Jew on the ground floor. And she's finally succumbed to her injuries. Rolling for injury. And it's another critical injury, 65, dead unless going to the dock. Well, everyone who got to watch this, firstly I want to say thank you for our first battle report, Van Saar versus Escher. It was just a test game, there's a lot we could do to improve. But thank you very much from myself at the Hive Herald Network, and we hope to see you again soon.